Good morning, my AP2 students. I have created a video today to help address questions about the AP exam, also to provide you with information about the AP exam and how it's going to be different and modified for you, the testers of 2020. Unfortunately, because of unprecedented events, you will not be taking your test in a traditional way. It is going to be modified for you so that you can take it from home. I know that some of your AP exams for other courses have been canceled, but the AP exam for U.S. history has not been. So I'm going to address a bunch of information that has been shared with me that I was able to get off of the College Board. And if you have questions, please make sure to put them in the classroom comments underneath the post for this video in Google Classroom so that all the students can see and so that all of you can see my answers. I cannot promise to have the answers to all of your questions, but I'll do the best that I can as information is coming to me slowly. But we'll make sure to get whatever other additional information comes out to you as soon as we find out. So I'm going to present to you a PowerPoint so that you have the information, you can refer to it. And again, questions, put them in the class comments. All right, so let's take a look at your exam date and time. Your exam date is going to be Friday, March 15th, 2020. All right, your time of your exam is going to be at 2 p.m. All right, the exam duration of the test. It's going to be 45 minutes to read and respond, and then 5 minutes to upload your responses. Let's take a look at what's going to be your exam type. It's going to be a modified document-based question, much like how you've been practicing in class. There'll be documents, you'll read them, there'll be a question, you'll answer it in essay form. So let's take a look at your question description and understand why it's considered a modified DBQ, right? The modified DBQ is going to have 5 historical sources, and one of them will be non-text based source, which means it could be a chart or a map of some sort. 5 historical sources as opposed to the 7. That's where it's modified, because they're giving you less time to do this and you're only going to be responding to one question. All right? What they're going to be looking at is that if you're answering the prompt with a historically defensible thesis or claim that establishes a line of reasoning. So you need to address the prompt like we did in class. You need to make sure that you are providing a thesis that answers the question. If it's not in a question form, put it into a question form. That will help you to be able to answer. And remember, if there's more than one part, it has to be addressed in your thesis. Otherwise, you will not gain full points. Right? You need to describe a broader historical context relevant to the prompt, meaning giving some historical background to that prompt or to that event or issue. Whatever the prompt is asking, you need to give a little background information. Using at least 4 documents that will help provide evidence to support your thesis. Now, in the regular rubric, they wanted you to use at least 6. In this case, or actually they wanted you to use at least 3 or 6. In this case, they're just asking you to use at least 4 of the documents to help you provide evidence to support your thesis. All right, so the question description, again, part of the grading process is that you have to use at least 2 outside sources relevant to the prompt. So make sure that you incorporate 2 in order to get those credits or those points. But remember, it's not just saying using this outside source. You have to tie it into your thesis. For at least 2 of the documents, explain how or why the document's point of view, purpose, historical situation, and/or audience is relevant to an argument. So make sure you talk about the point of view for at least 2 of the documents, or how it ties into your argument for the prompt. Right? As always, use evidence to corroborate, to qualify, or to modify an argument that addresses the prompt. You need to provide evidence from the documents. Remember, you have to reference, explain, and tie into your thesis statement. That's part of using evidence. If you miss any part of those 3 places, then you're not going to meet all the requirements of how you use your evidence. So again, reference the document, explain, and then tie it into your thesis statement. Rubric, okay? So the rubric is going to be modified for you. They're not going to use the 7-point rubric from before, from when you take the test in person. It's going to actually be a different one. And I'm going to provide you a PDF version on Google Classroom, but you could also find it online through the College Board. Of course, I'll make it easy for you and get you the PDF version. All right, what is eligible for the 2020 exam? Meaning, what are they going to cover? What information? What time periods? Remember, we talked about that there are 9 periods that they normally cover, or 9 units. In this case, what's going to be eligible are units 3 through 7. What's in 3 through 7, you ask? Well, I am going to provide you with a PDF for each unit. It's going to tell you what topics are going to be covered in those units, and this way you can go back to your study notes or pick out things out of the 5 steps to a 5, or go to Crash Course and become more familiar with those time periods or those events to help you prepare for the exam. There are no multiple questions, no multiple choice questions on the test. So you do not need to study for multiple choice. You're going to write one essay, a DBQ, and they're going to look at your writing skills to make sure that you know how to write to a DBQ and that you are using the information in there correctly. Okay, so really you're going to be answering a question that's going to be based on any topic that is in between units 3 and 7. All right, the breakdown of each unit, of course, is going to be available for you in PDF form on Google Classroom. So when I post this, that will also be underneath for you to look at. All right, makeup date and time. So should you not be able to take the test on May 15th, there's going to be a makeup date. Now, the only real reason why you shouldn't be able to take the test on May 15th is that you don't have the technology available. But of course, we're going to try to make sure that you do have the technology available, and that is why I'm posting this video up today, to give you enough time to get it ready, to get it together, to reach out to the appropriate people, for those of you that don't have access. And of course, if you know of someone who doesn't have access and they're not going to see this video or this PowerPoint, please reach out to them and share the information that I'm sharing with you, and give them the information that I'm going to be posting up today about getting the technology to be able to take the test. So the makeup date is going to be Wednesday, June 3rd, 2020 at 12 p.m. Again, AP is probably going to want a legitimate reason as to why you can't take the test on its original date. So don't think that, oh, I'm not going to take it May 15th. I'm going to wait till June 3rd. That's not how it works. AP is very strict about how they do things, and they're going to want to need some sort of proof as to why you can't take the test on its original date. Okay, so do not plan on making up a test that you have access to on May 15th. This is just for emergencies only. All right, access to the exam. So who will have access? So you'll be able to take the exam on any device you have, whether it's a computer, a tablet, or a smartphone. They've made sure to be able to make it accessible to all of those different types of devices, which sometimes is tricky because sometimes what works on a computer, excuse me, doesn't necessarily work on a smart board on a smartphone or a tablet. But AP is making sure that they make it accessible to all those different devices. And there are different ways in which you can do it. You can either type or upload your responses or write your responses by hand and submit a photo via cell phone. So again, if you have a smartphone and you can't type it on a computer or a laptop, then you could always write out your responses and submit via cell phone. But remember, you're on a time frame. You're going to get 45 minutes to read and write and 5 minutes to upload. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind when you are writing it. You have to keep time on yourself. Okay. Anybody who's taking the test, you're going to need to access the online testing system 30 minutes early. So your test is at 2. That means you need to get on at 1:30. Okay. And the reason for that is because there's probably a whole setup process before you can even start taking the test. You know how normally when we take a test, there might be some questions in the beginning, or there might be some bubbling in on an answer sheet. Well, there might be something similar to that on the day of the test. So you need to access the system 30 minutes early. So by 1:30, you need to get on. Maybe even try a little bit earlier than that. So the last thing I want to address is that if you don't have access to technology, the College Board has a page that you can go into that talks about testing. You should go to the coronavirus updates on College Board for the AP. And they do have a section where you can fill out a form or an online form to let them know that you don't have access to technology, whether it's, I guess, a computer or maybe Wi-Fi. And they want to work with you to come up with a solution to your problem. The other solution to your problem is that the Patterson Public School District will be giving out Chromebooks the week of the 22nd, which is after spring break. So you would need to go to the school and pick it up. I'm going to post all that information because I don't know the dates and the times off the top of my head. But you can also contact Ms. Forfia at the ppsstaff.org website or email to ask for more information or to ask for access to a device. Obviously, if you have your own device, you should not be going to the school to pick up additional devices. I'm saying this for a couple reasons. One, we are trying to limit the amount of exposure people get to the virus. We don't know who's sick and who isn't. Some people don't show symptoms, and they could spread easily to other people who will show symptoms. Second being, we are limited in how much technology we do have at the building, so obviously we can't offer it to every single person. And it's not fair if you have technology already that you should hoard more technology when there might be someone else who's less fortunate than you and needs it. So for 2 reasons, you should only go to the building if you absolutely have to and you don't have technology. You should not go to the building if you have some form of technology in which you can use to take this test. And that includes cell phones. They're there. They're great. Use them. So what if you have to write it on paper? Take a picture and upload it. They're giving you that option to do that. We just don't want a lot of people showing up to the building and becoming exposed to the virus and then taking it home to their relatives who may show symptoms and may become very ill. So again, if you need technology, we have it for you, but only for those of you who really, truly need it, okay? I am going to be available for all kinds of questions today. Spring break starts tomorrow, but of course, if you send me any emails during spring break and it's an emergency, you need information, I'll be happy to answer any and all questions. I really do hope that you and your family are safe and well, and I do miss all of my students. And I'm so bummed out that this is how our year may end. I don't know if we're going back soon. I would hope, but it has to be in a safe manner, obviously, for all of us. But you guys are my babies, and I'll be here for anything you need. If you want to make some suggestions on how I can help you prepare for the test, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm